The old Marrowfield Museum was closing for renovation. Among its dusty corridors and cracked marble floors, there was one room sealed off for nearly 40 years, the restoration wing. Art restorer Daniel Holt had been hired to clear it out. He didn't believe in curses or haunted art. He believed in facts, light, and restoration. That changed when he found the painting. The cloth crumbled like ash. Underneath was a portrait. A woman in a black dress, sitting in a dark parlor, her eyes hidden beneath the shadow of her hat. There was something wrong with it. The paint seemed wet, even though it was decades old. A small brass plaque at the bottom read, "Lady in Black, 1886, artist unknown." Daniel turned on his flashlight, but the beam bent away from the canvas, like the painting was swallowing the light. He couldn't stop thinking about it. He'd seen hundreds of paintings, but never one that seemed alive. He brought it home, telling himself he'd study it under better lighting. But under his lamp, the shadows seemed deeper. No matter how bright the room was, the area around the painting stayed unnaturally dim, almost like the light was afraid of it. He adjusted the frame and froze. The woman's hand, it was resting differently than before. Now her fingers gripped the armrest tightly, knuckles white.
Daniel, that room was off limits. Everything there was condemned after 1983. Restoration accidents, fires, disappearances.
You think a painting did that?
They said the paint used for that one came from human bone ash. The artist died before he could finish it.
The painting now hung crooked on the wall, the edges darker than before, as if soot had seeped from the canvas. When Daniel looked closer, the woman's face had shifted. Her lips curved into the faintest smile. The air grew cold. Then, the lamp flickered and died. In the dark reflection of the TV screen behind him, Daniel saw two glowing eyes staring from the painting. Determined to prove it was just stress, Daniel set up his camera overnight. The next morning, the footage showed something he couldn't explain. 3:17 a.m. The woman in the painting blinked. Then, faintly, she raised her head. The light in the room dimmed until only the glow from the camera remained. And at 3:18, Daniel's sleeping form vanished from the frame for 2 full seconds. When he woke up, he found black fingerprints on his neck, the same shade as the paint.
"Lady in Black," she whispered. "The artist was rumored to have murdered his wife and painted over her body, mixed her ashes into the paint. Every owner of that painting died by suffocation, drained of breath, like the light itself was taken from their lungs."
Daniel left shaken, but not enough to abandon it. He returned home and locked himself inside. He covered the painting with a white sheet. But at 3 a.m., the sheet began to darken, like something beneath was bleeding through. The light bulbs dimmed, one by one. Daniel grabbed his flashlight, but it refused to shine on the canvas. Every other surface lit up, except the painting.
Then he heard the whisper, a woman's voice, faint, calm. "You restored me. Now let me finish you."
The sheet lifted itself. The woman's face was fully visible now, her hat gone, her eyes pale and endless, her smile wide and wrong. Daniel screamed and swung the flashlight, but the beam shattered like glass. The shadows swallowed the room. Police arrived after neighbors complained of screams. The apartment was pitch black. Every bulb melted. In the center of the room stood the painting, now brighter than ever. The woman's face had changed again. She was smiling gently, holding something in her lap. A human hand, painted perfectly, resting cold against her gown. Daniel Holt was never found, but when they shone light on the portrait, The shadows moved, just slightly, and for a moment, the woman seemed to breathe.
Yes, we restored it completely. No damage left at all.
Some art doesn't just capture life, it takes it.